thinking, okay, let's go into this. Let's get our things ready. Okay. I'm not a Republican, but I am now, I guess, by virtue of the odds. And we thought, well, we'll just move into this thing. We'll get Trump ready. And you ready to go, Mr. Trump? Yeah, ready to go, President. Okay, great. Who we got? We'll go Joe Biden. Okay, Joe Biden's there. Well, Joe's a little, we, all of us, I, you, many of us, if not all of us, just anticipated that Joe Biden was just this mush-mouthed, confused, derailed. I've been doing so much research on the disassociation of thought as evinced and evidenced by speaking, logoralia, derailment. I love that. The volubility, garrulousness, all of this disconnected word salad gibberish. Kamala Harris. And I've got a great one coming up for you. You're going to love this from an NEA exec. But anyway, I and other people thought, well, that's just the way it is. They just don't seem to care about Joe. Just like I was on a show one time it was on a show in New York called New York One. It was before it was Spectrum. It was Errol Lewis and others. And I said, I said, Hillary Clinton is neurologically unsound. And she may not make it because of the fact that she's exhibiting what appears to be some type of, stroke-like ischemic behavior or something. I don't know. And they looked at me like I was crazy. What are you talking about? What's wrong with Hillary Clinton? I said, are you daft? Anyway, I kind of said, okay, well, that's the Democrats. They just don't care about this. And I'm going to stop talking about it because I'm wasting my time. But at the time, I was noticing her head, the diplopia, the Fresnel lenses, everything all indicative of and presenting, if you will, problems of somebody who would suffer from either some kind of an ischemic attack or stroke or some form of seizure-like, what have you, epileptic. Nobody cared. Okay, fine. Enter Joe Biden. Here we go again. June of 2017, the corn pop speech. And I was saying then, I sound like Alan Dershowitz. I predicted the solar eclipse. Did you know that? I predict everything. But this time I can say, no, I can show you. I was saying this then and pointing this out and was on a show election eve and said Joe Biden is out of his tree, but nobody listened to me. And I'm used to that. And maybe you're the same way. People don't listen to us. They just, I don't know. My whole life I've been like this. And recently I'm saying, hey, look, they're spraying something. No, they're not. Yes, they are. Look. See that plane? You see the haze over there? Yeah, this is called spraying. No, they're not. Yes, they are. I'm used to it. I'm not going to mention some other physical, obvious anomalies that defy gravity and the like, but I'm used to it. It's what I've been my whole life. I've always been an outlier. I've always been a bit of I guess they call me a troublemaker, but I always would point things out. And then invariably I was always correct. And you're probably the same way. We just said, I said, this is not anything that. Okay, so we entered Joe Biden. Joe Biden was awful. Joe Biden was terrible. Every single day, RNC, and you can go online, RNC, press room, Trump war room. Just go down your favorite news aggregator and find another example of Joe losing his mind, whispering nothing, the gait, the stiffness, the mask, all of the signs of what could very well be Lewy body dementia. That's really interesting. I know Robin Williams had it. He had an advanced stage, but it does progress, and everything is on some type of a unique spectrum. Okay, fine. We were saying this forever. Look at Joe Biden. Nobody looked. Well, do you think he's going to do enough with the border? The hell with the border. He's out of his mind. You know, there was a time when we would use the word retarded. Hey, don't act retarded. He's retarded. Hey, 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 hey. They said, don't say that. What's the matter? Don't say that. What? It's it's like the N word for the retarded. Well, what's wrong with it? Because you're making fun. I'm not making fun. It's called mental retardation. Don't say that word. Well, what do you want to call it? I don't know. Special, disabled. I don't know, but just challenged. Just don't say that. But I'm not making fun of anything. I'm not, don't say it. There used to be something called EMR, educably mentally retarded. You went to school and they were special ed teachers and they learned it. And they meant no harm by it. We got to get rid of this word. Okay. All right. Are we going to continue working on this? No. What? No, not really. We're just going to ignore it. We're going to give it a new word and ignore it. And we're going to lessen the emphasis of it by claiming that what you're doing is shaming, and then we're going to ignore it altogether. We're going to drop money in special ed programs. We're just going to say everybody is equal. Everybody's the same. He's okay. He may have the IQ of a child. Doesn't matter. They're not going to get special help. They're not going to get anything special because this is the way we refuse to help them by, first of all, two-step program. Number one, we euphemize the situation and then we ignore them. Oh, okay, right. There was a time when we used to take the mentally ill and warehouse them. Doesn't that sound horrible? Dear God. Sounds like something off the turnpike. What's that? That's a warehouse. And we had these terrible images of Bedlam. Remember, the word Bedlam is from a British mental hospital called Bethlehem. But by virtue of their pronunciation, Cockney or what have you, they call it Bedlam. That was that. So we wanted to stop that. So we stopped the, quote, institutionalizing of the mentally ill. And we forgot them. They're all walking on the street now. And we call them homeless and homeless. They're also shoeless, toothless, sanitariness, clueless. Clueless might be a good one. Out of their minds, but we call them homeless. Why? Because two steps. We euphemize what there is, mental illness, and then we forget about that. We make it sound like some alternative. Joey used to be called retarded. Now he's just whatever. So listen. Whatever melts your butter, whatever you want to call yourself, I've been through this. In my generation, I remember black people were called colored and Negro and Negroid and then Afro-American and then African-American and people of color and then African. Okay, fine. Did anything help? No. We just changed your name because we just changed your name. Years ago, I used to represent a fellow who owned a security guard. He had a security guard company. They did, they watched parking lots and stuff. And I said, what do you do about, we were talking about raises. He goes, I don't give him a raise. I give him a rank. I have these bars. He would go like to an Army Navy store and you have like sergeant and lieutenant and captain. He just gave these captain, gold, and my captain. I promoted you. Did you give him any more money? No, I just gave him a bar. Yeah, but does it mean anything? He doesn't know that. You see what we do? We just change things. We just change the way we look. We don't call it affirmative action or quotas. We call it now equity. Okay. As long as you know what it means, then they just change. We just change words. We change words. By the way, I loved, there was this word when it's so funny. Oh, and not only can you not say certain things, for example, if you talk about race, if you say blackness, I love the word negritude. I think that is just beautiful. It's about blackness. Blackness. What? What's wrong with that? Whiteness, blackness. Well, and the third one is certain people can say certain things. Look at gay. How many times have you heard a song, gay and easy, feeling gay? What? No, not that. Oh, you can always tell the the time frame of the song. Gay folks came along and they just said, we're going to take this word for ourselves. Great. Now they're gay. Wonderful. There was a word the Pope used. I can't even say it, but it was a colloquialism. So what that logorrheic, derailed, desultory proem, that prolegomenon just described, was where we are with Joe. Because on 627, as you know, Buddha, God bless you, Buddha TT boy. I don't know what that means, but thank you so much. On 627, don't forget, 9/11, 10/7, October the 7th, September the 11th, December the 627. That was the debate. Poor performance. That's when they took Joe. Okay, they put him out there and they said, oh my God. I said, well, where have you? One day, you're going to look up and they're going to say, hey, they're spraying something. What? Did you know they're spraying something? I've been saying that for years. No, not Dershowitz. I'm telling you the truth. I have been. We've all been saying this. Bill Gates has been announcing it's under geoengineering, but you went to chemtrails, and chemtrails was always derailed as some kind of a conspiracy theory. No, it's just there. That's the way we are. All of a sudden, we just recognize, hey, do you think that maybe this isn't a good idea? Really? Really? You think that maybe all this bacon isn't a good idea? You think maybe the nitrates, you think maybe the fact that all of this smoking and all this might be, you think? Yeah, they've been saying this forever. I never really thought about that. Well, that's where we are. Well, 627, that's when it all changed. Had the debate. And why it's so important? I don't know. Do you know anything that happened that was that different? Not really. Did you notice any I thought his performance in some respects was better. I thought his gait was better after the G7 thing, after he walks off and wanders off, and Maloney's walking over here. Joe, over here. Ven acá. Allora. What was that? Nobody said anything about that. Wow, that was a cheap fake. Cheap fake. Excuse me, cheap fake? Yeah, somebody needs to come here. Yeah, can you come here? Yes. What is your name again? Oh, Corinne Jean-Pierre. Come here. You stand here. And what's your name? Brian Stelter? Come on, Tater. Call you Tater Boy. I want you two to stand there. And I want you to look out to the world. Okay, look. This is Corinne Jean-Pierre. She was White House press secretary. And this is Tater, this guy that they pulled back out of obscurity from CNN. And both of them are going to tell you, again, their definition of cheap, not cheapskates, but cheap fakes, because they were told to say this. They were ordered to say this. And they lied to you. You did lie, didn't you, Corinne? Yes. Yeah, and you did too, Tater. Thank you very much. They lie to you. They lie. You got that? Mr. Cool Miser, grazie mille. So they lied to you. And they told you that it was a cheap fake. Didn't you? Yeah, you did. And you knew this, didn't you? Yes. And you lied. You lied. Because you have no soul. You have no morals. And and did you ever apologize for that? Of course not. Of course not. Because you're a liar. You're a pathological liar. Your word means nothing. You are part of this, and you were hired because you were a good liar. And your lying expertise is so good. And Tater, I don't even know what you do. You're this vestige, this pathetic vestige of a time when you used to, I guess, analyze things. So they brought you back and you lied. And we knew this. And we were saying this. But what you also did was you took this man. And by the way, let me explain something to you. I will feel sorry for Joe Biden when he's behind bars or in a home or something. But now that he's standing in the way of destroying my beloved republic, and as I remind you of the Constitution and the flag, as he seemingly, single-handedly, along with that Harridan, termagant wife of his, and that syphilitic evil spawn, Hunter, who is now privy to what? To Classified information? No. I will move for your complete and total annihilation. And let me tell you something, Joe. As we've said, not to pull a Dershowitz, but we've been saying this. The DOJ that's the last one. It's not really going to be, they can't say this, on TV. This morning, I tried my best. B. Wakul said, Aussie here, never go full. Yes, indeed. Can't even say it. One of the greatest Robert Downey Jr. performances in the history of Hollywood. Thank you. Now, let me say this to you. What's hard about this is to figure out exactly. Oh, here we go. Mr. Cool says, the Robert Hur tape on October 8th proves they rigged the primaries. By the way, they didn't rig the primaries. And the fact is, the October 8th, the Robert Hur tape, really in the scheme of things, doesn't mean anything. And by the way, thank you, Mr. Cool, because we have June 27th. You can release October 8th. For some reason, Mr. Cool, for some reason, I don't know why. For some reason, and I can't figure this out. The June 27th performance, that's the one that did it. That's the one that did it. That's the one that did it. Really? Really? Okay. Remember the old joke when somebody said, we didn't know he was drunk until he showed up sober. Well, that's kind of like what happened was, this is what got your attention. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Look, if that works, good for you. So what they also did was, and they've yet to, I was going to say something. So this morning I just happened to watch, I said, I got to watch first couple of minutes of Fox News. They can't really say anything. They're so scared. They got the Dominion. They're not going to do that again. Remember, they fired Tucker because he spoke the truth. They have the usual, they say the obvious. No hits, no runs, no errors. They just have the regular people on. What do you think about this? Well, this week, it's going to hit the fan this week. Like, Hakeem Jeffries are all back from the 4th of July. That's right, Steve Ducey. And they're back this week, and they're going to be deciding what the heck they're going to do. What do you think, Ainsley? Well, I'll tell you what, Steve. They've got a couple of tough issues. Does he stay in? And who's the replacement going to be? Is it going to be Kamala or someone else? Are they going to do a blitz primary? Let's look at this Axios article. This is the most horrible stuff I've ever seen. And they're number one by default. Or maybe the country is a bunch of children. Maybe they like this. Maybe it's something that really works for them. Maybe this kind of a simpleton attitude is really refreshing. Maybe people like to look at this. Maybe we're making a big mistake looking at things far more differently than other folks. That's kind of what we do, much to our chagrin. Now, moving along here, let's make sure we understand. And this is what I start off with every single day, dear friends. This is what I start off with every dear friends. Look at this. Robert Downey Jr. is a national treasure. Well, he was in that movie, and he should have gotten the movie for Chaplin. By the way, Mrs. All and I were very good friends with his late father, Robert Downey Sr., and we talked about that. And I think he's one of the most talented. This Oppenheimer thing, I refuse to see that movie, so I don't know what he did, but Tropic Thunder was that. Okay, let's don't go off into Tropic Thunder, but thank you very much. You're right about that. Now, let's talk about something here. As I told you, and as we've said, using critical thinking and nothing further, we only have a couple of options here. Number one, Biden stays in until the election, and that is 120 days. Biden stays in. Okay? This is not genius analysis here, my friends. This is pretty simple stuff. Or he quits. Or he's forced out. Okay? So stays in, resigns, or is forced out. 3 possibilities. If he stays in, self-explanatory. If he resigns, what happens? Well, if you look at it right now, under the 25th Amendment, so to speak, it's going to be, Kamala is going to be the acting president upon resignation. You see how that works? Upon resignation. It's true. It's absolutely true. That's it. She's the acting president. And what does that mean? Well, don't really know, but it's as good as that. But Americans aren't going to worry about acting and versus legitimate. Okay. If he's forced out, that can be done a number of ways. Number 1, 25th Amendment, Article 4 or Section 4. That's not going to have to take too long. He can also, under Article 3, I think, voluntarily, he can, remember, this is just a kind of a suggestion sort of thing where he can say, listen, I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to file a written document with Patty Murray, the president pro tem, and with Mike Johnson. And I'm going to say, in essence, look, I'm going to take a hiatus. And Kamala, you can be the acting president. Again, it's not really, there's not finality. She's not the president. She's acting president. And you say, what's the difference? A lot, asked John Tyler in 1841. The next thing they can do is impeachment. That's even more fun. A green-lighted speed impeachment where the Democrats have to go back to the Republicans and say, excuse me, remember when you wanted to impeach Biden before and we said no? Yeah. Well, now we say yes. What? We say yes. Now we're okay with that. Do you understand? Do you see the hilarity of that? Did you see that? Hilarious. Did you see that one? The Republicans say, wait. You want us what? We want you to join with us to vote him up. Not just impeach him, but convict him. So there's going to be wheeling and dealing. But what I think makes the most sense, and we've also suggested this, is there's this other kind of this nuclear option, whatever you want to call it, where they say, Joe, yeah, listen, we've talked to your counsel. The DOJ is going to indict your son for stuff you haven't even thought of. Espionage, treason, violation of the Mann Act, mopery, assignation, alienation of affections. What? We're making stuff up. Remember, we're the same ones who brought you the emoluments clause. You dig that, Joe? That's going to be the one that says, okay, I'm out of here. Thank you. And by the way, Joe says, one more thing. Yeah. Remember when I said that I wasn't going to pardon my son? Yeah. What if I did? And I'm on my way out. What are you going to do? I know it's a federal pardon, and these were states. And by the way, his other stuff was in Delaware, and we own Delaware. Okay. So that's where we are. That's it. That's where we are. That's the only possibility. And you can watch all the TV shows you want, but that's it. And you can talk about this blitz primary. Have you heard this one? These two folks said, hey, I have an idea. Let's do a blitz primary. A blitz primary. It can open up their range. Okay, fine. Boring. Okay? Now, the very fact that Joe Biden is not picking up the phone and helping this poor woman who actually admitted to using the questions provided by his White House. He did the right thing. Ms. Andrea Lawful Sanders shows you the spineless. And if I were black and urban, I'd be so ticked off. You think he'd do that to Howard Stern or somebody? You think they're not saying anything? Nothing. Kamala's not saying anything. This woman did what she had to do. You're there and the White House tells you, look, maybe it was wrong as a journalist, but they fired her and they don't even say, Joe would show what a mensch she's. He said, wait a minute, hold it. Don't you fire her. She's an outstanding broadcaster. And if anybody's to blame, it's me and my administration. And I take responsibility for that. They should have never done this. So what? You're firing her? No, fire me. And we will, Joe. That goes to show you how feckless these people are. Now, let's look at what Joe's doing. For some reason, and maybe you can, new topic here. Remember when Fetterman, the senator of Pennsylvania, walked around? The guy who wears the hoodies and the tattoos, and he didn't know. He was gone. This guy made Joe Biden sound like John Gielgud in comparison. I mean, Fetterman he had to have special machinery to understand what people were saying. I mean, thank God he was only a senator, but people were thinking, oh my God. And Dr. Oz, by the way, have you heard from Dr. Oz lately? No, because he never wanted this in the first place. He never wanted it. He never, just like Kamala. She didn't want this. She's just kind of there. He kind of like, hey, I'm running. But doesn't really want to do the heavy work. He doesn't want to go to committee hearings and listen to this stuff and go to constituents. And he doesn't want that. And we knew that. And Pennsylvanians knew that. Okay. But Fetterman now is just, this guy's so recovered. What's his secret? What did he do? He sounds fantastic. He's pro-Israel, pro-Biden, of this, and it is miraculous. I mean, it's almost like Hillary Clinton when she recovered from her, all of that, whatever that stuff was she was exhibiting. So this is Joe, and a couple of things. Let me see what this dude here.
Even when I was running for Senate.
Okay, here we go. This is one of these ones. This is where when he's talking, he does these things where he says, no, really, no, wait. He does that when he's trying to make a point. Now watch these folks behind him, okay? They're told, listen, Joe's going to come out. Yeah, whatever he says, just clap. What? Just clap. He's going to say something stupid invariably, so just don't question it. Just clap, okay? So here comes Joe to show you that he just had a bad night on the 27th and that he is ready to go, sharp as a marble, and ready to take on the rigors and the duties of not only candidate, but a reelected POTUS.
But look, even when I was running for Senate, each time I ran, quite frankly, not a joke, Philadelphia in particular got me across the line.
Now, let me say something right there. You may have missed that. And let me just, and I'm in case for our foreign friends. Sorry, you're part of the family, okay? Joe was a senator of Delaware. What Philadelphia, Pennsylvania had to do with Delaware, nobody knows. How they put him over. I'll look at the faces in the back. They're saying, what the hell is he talking about? Okay?
Not a joke. Philadelphia in particular got me across the line. No, I'm not joking.
I'm not joking.
No, I mean it seriously. Organizationally and in terms of fundraising, the whole deal.
Why would there be fundraising in Philadelphia? Because he claims some connection to Scranton or something. Why would there be fundraising in Philadelphia for this? Does this make any sense to you?
Well, look, here's the deal.
What is the deal?
This election is going to be about block and tackling, simple, basic politics.
Block and tackle, folks. You got that hard work, fulcrums or fulcra, Archimedean type of hard work, sweat equity,
Simple. It's going to be a matter of how many signs we get out, how many doors we knock on, how many calls we make, and how many requests we answer.
Thank you very much. What that has to do with when he ran for senator. Now, immediately when he said that, they run to Twitter or X. I still can't call it X. And they start blasting it. And you think his people would say, for the love of God, Joe, what did Philadelphia have to do with anything? Well, I'm in Philadelphia. I know you're in Philadelphia, but if you were in Guam, would you say, in Guam, pull me over? He doesn't know what he's talking about. This goes to show you the lack of organizational. Now, somebody was saying the other day, look, his hand is there's a tremor. I don't see anything like that. I don't see that. And I'm telling you right now, I know I'm just a regular person, okay? I'm just a regular person. But if anybody, but all of these self-styled constitutional and legal experts, well, I could be a medical expert. I don't think it's Alzheimer's. I don't think it's Parkinson's. I think it's Lewy body dementia. Because if you read this progressive, read it first. Yes, there's some motor. Parkinson's is motor, but there's this Parkinson's dementia. If that matters to you, look, I don't know. If it's like when you're a cop and you pull somebody over and they're passed out at the wheel, they shouldn't be driving. You don't sit around and say, well, it might be an allergic reaction. I don't know. Could be. Who cares? He shouldn't be driving. We don't care why. We don't care the particular name of the affliction that disenables him from this. Now, here we go again. This is Joe, unable to grasp the clown that he's become.
Thank you. Folks, with your permission, I'm going to find out whether you have any ice cream. Isn't it really dull when you have a president who's known for two things, Ray-Ban sunglasses and chocolate chip ice cream?
Now, a couple of things, as you know, we said that the other day. I think this is interesting. I don't think it's critical, but in patients with dementia, ice cream is very good for opening up their senses and the like, but he just doesn't seem to get it. Now, let's talk about something which is more interesting, I think, and I want to share this with you. And this is one of the greatest examples, one of the greatest, dare I say, one of the greatest moments of one of the best, I guess, advertisements for homeschooling ever. This is just one of the best ones ever. And I love this. And it's so terrific and so wonderful. And I want to bring this to your attention. Please enjoy with me this, what I'm about to show you. This is NEA Becky Pringle, National Education Association. She's the head of this in one of the best indicia of the necessity of homeschooling ever. Note the Kamala logorrhea, and the belief that rhythmic, faux evangelical screaming will make up for a message that is vapid and insignificant and completely without cause. I love this term logorrhea. I like it, but logorrhea is this communication disorder that causes excessive wordiness and repetitiveness, which can cause incoherency. It's sometimes classified as a mental illness. It can be Wernicke's aphasia. It's wonderful. There's these great terms for it. Prosody. It's wonderful. But there's also something that happens, and it's called, for lack of a better word, faux evangelism. These were people who say, and all of a sudden they'll start hearing clapping. So they go, "Ooh, I'm on a roll. Well, let me continue." And they're clapping like some people do out of nervousness or, well, whatever, we're going to clap, And the perspicacity and the veracity and the mendacity of the contumacity in the name of God. And we will fight and we will move and we will, and say, yeah. And the clapping will increase, which signals to them keep on going, even though they have no idea what they're talking about, which is very funny because then we get into this weird kind of this derailment. It's like, I don't know where I'm going with this. And then it's almost like they say the honest to God truth, because it's like they're in a trance or something. Let's dig the words of Pringle. And remember, this is why homeschooling might be a good idea.
Every moment of change or perceived chaos, we will remember who we are. We are the ones who helped to shape the heart of this nation's hopes and dreams.
Watch it.
We are the ones who hold steadfast to the belief of the plausibility of the possible. We are the...
Look at the folks in the back. Don't they look like mannequins or like not moving? In fact, there's a head behind her left shoulder. This guy doesn't move. I think it's just like a cartoon drawing of a shadow or something.
Heirs of all who did this work before us. We must keep going. NEA delegates, we can do this work. We must do this work. We get to do this work. We will do this work.
Nobody's really
because
picking
our
up.
students are depending on us to win
He's saying
all
clap.
the things. NEA, we have to
Listen to
win
him. Huh?
all the things. All the things.
Oh, he moved.
All the things. Our colleagues are depending on us to win all the things.
All the
Keep
things.
going, NEA.
What are the things, by the way? You're probably saying, well, that's fascinating, but what are the things? Don't be so persnickety. It's the things.
To preserve our democracy, we must win
To preserve our democracy, we have to win, and we're teachers.
all the things. Delegates,
All the
we
things.
won't go back. We will keep going forward because
Yeah.
we are the NEA.
Yeah.
We are the NEA. We are the NEA.
Look at the one behind her.
that's what we do. Thank you, NEA.
Complete and total unmitigated gibberish. Derailment. That's a wonderful term, by the way. Derailment. I love this. This wonderful, this strange. How do let me get some good ones here. I love derailment. Let me just read this one to you. And I love reading sometimes the actual the medical terms. Okay, it goes into aphasia. Well, I'm not gonna worry about this. I think derailment is pretty self-explanatory. I just love that. See, I love BS. And I can't say the word, but you know what I'm talking about. Phonies who somehow have, by virtue of political connections or whatever, they've elevated themselves to the level of I'm in charge of this and I am brilliant. And anything I say is blessed with the pixie dust of brilliance. And people hang on to every word I say because of how brilliant I am. I spew brilliance. I do nothing but command the respect of people by virtue of this. And it's Kamala, it's others. This is embarrassing. And if you told her, if you sat down and said, can I talk with you for a moment? Yeah. Listen, Becky, is it Becky Pringle? Becky, have a seat. Did you think that went well? You did, didn't you? You did. And I bet you friends of yours said, Becky, that was great. Right? Right? Do you have any idea of what a joke you are? You don't, do you? See, that's the problem. You don't know. You live in a bubble. You have been so admired, you have been so, you've been caught in this tsunami of I don't know what, but this is horrible. And you're a teacher. You're a teacher. This is what that nobody knows what that is. And the sad part are the people, your acolytes, who say this is fantastic. I'm telling you, homeschooling just went up because of that. Now, let's go back to what we're doing. I want you to stop for a moment. And I want you to recognize the fact that what you were seeing and what you are viewing and what you are witnessing right now is something that you're going to be telling your kids and grandchildren about for the rest of your life. This is something which is so beautiful. This is a complete and total destruction of everything. Now, my friends, I want to say something, and I haven't done this in a while, and I don't mean to do this to you, but I must say this. I need 2,000 likes. I know. You're going to say, what is with the, why does everybody on YouTube always say, if you like the video, because you like, it's one of those things. And it means the most. Because what we can do is, I don't want to break into a Becky Pringle this early, but I want people to say, hey, that's good. Who are these people? They're very sane. Because we are very sane. And I know, I know people are going to say, no, because they don't like what we're saying, because it's true. But in order for us to spread our holy word, the holy word of truth, I need your likes. I need you to press that like button, to press it, and it means everything. They say, okay, we'll be done. And we're going to put you into this new category. And somebody somewhere in Oklahoma who's looking up how to change a Keurig filter or whatever says, wait, what's this? And it just gets into the mix. And then we are exposed to a new level, a new range, a new group of folks. And it's so fascinating. And then they say, you know what? I think I'm going to, who are these? Is he a Republican? Who are these nice people? I don't know what we are. We just call ourselves Americans. It's that simple. So thank you for that. Now, what is happening this week? The first question, the very, very, very first question, the most important question that you have to ask, and a Steve Ducey would have to ask, or something, but they don't, is tell us this. What is the real story? No, wait. In every other case, everybody who's been around for 50 years in the Democratic machine understands the necessity of listening to your elders. Judas Goat Barbecue says preachers like to use clang association, fancy term for rhyming. He helped Obadiah. He helped Hezekiah. Hit that like button. Indeed. Thank you for that. Now, there's nothing better than true evangelical poetry, which I love. I don't know what that is. That's just not even approximating it. But thank you for that. But the real question is this. Wouldn't you love to sit on that couch? I don't know why. I just imagine it's just Fox News. And you look at that couch and you're saying, this is about, I don't know, 20 million, 25 million bucks right here. This quartet. I'm probably being more than that. 50 million. Think about that. Those four people, that represents, let's just say for the sake of it, $50 million. Let's say 10 million each, plus maybe more for them. $50 million. $50 million that Fox News is paying this quartet of jadruls to sit there and say nothing but the obvious. But there's something universally wrong about this. This explains why there's communism. This explains. I know you don't want to hear this, but this is why people are communists, because they go, this isn't fair. Well, this capitalism is nuts. And it is. But here's the issue. Steve, or whoever you are you aware? The question is, what do they have on Joe? Now, it's very simple. We got to start with them. Don't tell me, please don't tell me it's Joe Biden. Don't tell me Joe Biden. Why does she let him? Excuse me. Why does she let him? What is this? His caretaker? It doesn't work like that. You're at the highest levels, the highest echelons, and you're going to let some babysitter with a bad misspelled dissertation and some EDD, quote, doctor tell you what to do? And your demented, evil seed, crack addict's son? Do you want me to believe? Look, Ducey, are you for it? Do you really think that they're responsible for this? Do you think that enfeebled man, who is pulling the strings? Who is pulling the strings? Do you think that Joe Biden actually is saying, if we can just wait 120 days, Joe will finish this out. I'm a 2-term FLOTUS. We're going to do this. We just got to get over this hump. We got to get past this bad performance and everything's groovy. Everything's groovy. Do you believe that for a moment? Do you think that for a moment? Do you honestly, truthfully, seriously believe that Joe Biden and his son are calling the shots? That if they change their mind, Joe would say, okay, I'm throwing in the towel. Come on. But they keep saying this. Why does Joe Biden allow this? Why does Joe Biden allow? Do you think Joe Biden has made any decision in his life now? No. I'll save you the chance. No. 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 Do you think Joe Biden said, great, let's open up the borders? No. Do you think Joe Biden ever said, great, here's what we're going to do. Bring in Rachel Levine. How you doing, Rachel? Oh, God. Okay, you're Rachel? Okay, well, you'll do. Rachel, I want you to go in. I want you to completely destroy parental autonomy and primacy. I want you to go in, and I want to turn as many kids, to change as many genders, block as many puberties as possible. You got that? I've always wanted to do this, Rachel, all my life. Haven't had the chance until now. You got that? Good. Okay, pick up the phone. Bring in our, I want you to bring me every gay performer, every drag queen, every trans star, every bearded person wearing gold lame. I want to bring in every show tune to everybody. I want this to look like some kind of weird, like Tommy Toon meets Rocky Horror. I want to bring every freak, degenerate, perv, skeeve, you name it, bring them into the White House and let them run around, because I, Joe Robinette Biden Jr., I want to be known as the person who opened this up. Okay? I want to be the person. Do you think Joe thought that? Do you think Joe, honest to God, seriously, do you think Joe Biden, that's his thing? Do you think Joe Biden gives a damn about gay marriage or abortion? Do you think Joe Biden, did you ever hear Joe Biden in the old days? Joe Biden used to hang around with who was his name? Robert Byrd, ex-Klan member. Do you, he was Trent Lott's buddy. Do you think the guy who went after Clarence Thomas? And do you think he cares any? Do you believe Joe Biden has one issue, one thing, one overwhelming, overarching, one direction, one notable goal in his world? No! Joe Biden is a sock puppet. Somebody puts his hand up his back, goes like this, and he's an animatronic. He signs bills. So if somebody told him, Joe, listen, you can go to Wilmington, Hunter's off the hook. You've got all the money squirreled away that James and others put in Swiss bank accounts. You are set. We guarantee, Joe, you are fine. Don't worry about this. You just stick with us. McCoolmeiser says, it is a characteristic of wisdom not to do desperate things. Well, that is most eloquent and most true, sir. Thank you. There's something like the obvious, right, at a time of complete calamity for people to make sense. So let me just ask you this. Again, Steve Ducey, whatever it is. Who is telling Joe to hang on? Why is there this fractionalized look? If I didn't know better, I think somebody is deliberately destroying the Democratic Party. Somebody is deliberately destroying it. Our Aussie friend who goes, Aussie here, Brandon must be calling the shots. Just look at all the imbecilic decisions. No. I appreciate that, but no. He doesn't want this. Does this look like a man that says, where are we going next? We're going to Wisconsin? Good. Are we going to go to, when are we going to? We're going to go to any toss-up stage? Good. I'm going to do it. What about we got a rally coming up? Next, what about the debates? The debates coming up? This is what Trump's doing. Trump says, where do we go next? What do we do next? Trump, This guy has to sit down, take a nap. Do you really think Joe Biden wants to be humiliated? Do you think Joe Biden is so gone that he does not know that he's being humiliated? No, of course he does. He knows he's being humiliated. They're grinding his legacy into the dust. Now, if I didn't know better, I'd swear what they're doing is it's somebody saying, I'm going to do this as long as possible because I want to destroy these idiots. They are not going to be able to withstand. They're not going to be able to recover from this for years. Remember when you were a kid? I never forget the black box. We had this little black cube. And each of us were trying to say, what's in it? And I said, I listened to it. I said, something's like something spherical. Why? Because it's rolling. I turn it sideways and it's rolling. If it was flat, it would slide. And I don't know what it is, but it sounds like, I'd say, a marble or some sphere and maybe something, whatever. That's what this is. We're standing outside the stadium, listening to the crowd and trying to guess the score. We don't really know anything. I hate to tell people on TV you don't know anything. Because nobody's telling you anything. Nobody, either you don't know anything or nobody's telling you. Nobody. Because what you're seeing right now makes no sense. Call Me Red says, Joe Biden proven safe and effective for the Democratic Party. Well, not now. Not now, my friend. This is hurting. This is killing them. They will not be able to recover. The Republicans are sitting back, and they're sitting. You know that when they meet in the hallways of Congress, you know that they're looking at each other and they have friends. There are people who are just political animals, and they're calling each other and they're saying, I don't know about you, but the Democratic fundraisers, after seeing this, tells the world that the Democratic Party is complete and totally out of control and in disarray. Do you see that? Do you see what's happening? So somebody's doing this on purpose. And they're taking Jerry Nadler, the man's longest zipper. There's a picture I've got of him. His zipper. You don't normally go to when you remember the old days, you ever go to like clothing stores? His zipper is like a yard long. Ladies and gentlemen, there she is. You know her, you love her. Our friend Lori Partridge, who likes to watch, she said one time her hobbies are Russian dash cam accident, if I recall correctly. Obama, the Clintons, and Pelosi. I don't know what that means, but bless your heart, thank you. I don't know what about them, but they're not calling the shots. They've never called the shots. They've never called the shots. Remember something. If you know a name, they're not it. Don't say Soros or don't say the person who was behind Gavin Newsom. Don't ever forget him is, of course, the Getty family. That's where the money comes from. And there are different factions of so just remember, as we see this, Bernie Sanders was saying, I am not going to meet with anybody. He's over here. Okay. You've got the Bernie faction, which is still upset over the fact that he basically he abandoned all his young folks. That's Bernie over there. The AOC, what about Rashida Tlaib? Quiet, gone. They told her, shut up. Ilhan Omar, where is she? I don't know. She's gone. What about Ayanna Pressley? Remember that with the alopecia, the bald-headed woman? She has alopecia, bless her heart. Nowhere to be found. They're just over there. Nowhere. This is a Bernie contingent. Nowhere. Where's Pelosi? Pelosi just shows up. She says a few words. She says so many things. She changes her mind. Joe's this. He's great. No, he's not. I'm for Israel. No, I'm not. This and that. No, I'm not. Maybe. I don't know. It's complete and total chaos. Wait until Bibi Netanyahu. My favorite is Bibi. Yeah. You're going to go to Washington? Yeah. Are you going to meet with Joe? Yeah. He's vegged. He's vegged. Do you want a picture of him? You want a picture of him? You're sitting next to him. And he's going to write or whoever's in charge. He ain't going to write. He doesn't even know. He can't even spell Israel, much less understand it. He's going to give you a couple more $1 billion. And you're going to look like you just took money from some, like you robbed some old man's checking account, like, some guardianship thing. You want to do that? Or you just don't care? Are they going to meet together? Are they going to be in the White House? Photo op? Joe is radioactive. Joe is vegged. Joe has that vegged look. He's just vegged. He is gone. So who wants to stand next to him? Is Joe going to be campaigning for anybody? No. You've heard about this, the down ticket folk. Democratic Party should be furious. They're going into this, and now they're going to say, well, what do you think about Joe? What do you think about Joe? What about Joe? What about Joe? Every time somebody goes to their home district or has a meeting or an interview with some local editorial board, what about Joe? What do you think about Joe? Well, are you for him leaving yet? Well, why won't he leave? Where's the leadership? Well, it's hard. You're telling me that Joe Biden is controlling the fate of our country? Are you telling me? And what about that convicted felon son of his? Him. Since you Democrats love the term convicted felon, what about him? How does this work? Who's running the show? Well, nobody's running the show. And you want me to vote for you? You can't tell me. This is what's happening. So let me go back to what I said. If I didn't know better, I'm saying there's like a parasite or a virus that says, okay, let's destroy them. Joe, keep it up. Keep going. Say nothing. Raul Rodriguez says teachers can help to eliminate parental primacy. They are doing, well, it's not so much teachers, but school boards are absolute primacy and autonomy. Absolutely. But believe me, that issue is nowhere near this. So thank you, Raul. Does this make any sense to you? Let me try it again. The Democratic Party is a disaster. Remember, and things take 5, sometimes 10 years to recover. How do you recover? Where's the leadership? Who's in charge of this? Who is in charge of any of this? We don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody is saying anything. Nobody is even remotely close to acting as though they're in charge. What do people do? Republicans are looking great. You notice how also Trump is being quiet. Thank you. Trump is going to be quiet, very quiet. And I hope he's telling all his people, watch what you say. Radio silence to an extent. Radio silence. Make sure you do this. Don Jr. especially. Keep it. They've been zipping it. Thank God. You and Kimberly's not even his fiance. She's the one providing details. She's being debriefed and has been for years regarding Gavin. Gavin Newsom's not going away either. He is a what is the word? Surrogate proxy representative. He's going to stick his knife in the back of. And Biden knows this. So I go back. Why is this happening? They're now talking about blitz primaries. Wait a minute. Hold it. I'm a big money donor. I'm going to talk to the head of what's going on here. This makes no sense. Right now, as we speak, let me ask you a question. Do you know who is the head of the DNC? Anybody? Who is the head of the DNC? Who are these people? What's going on? I mean, who is running the show here? No, I mean, we don't know anything. Who is happening? Who is the head of the DNC? Who is the chairman? The incumbent chairman. Assumed office in January of 2021. Anybody? You got vice chairs? Or Gretchen Whitmer, Tammy Duckworth. Ready? This will go Jamie or Jaime, Jaime Harrison. Who? Yeah, Jamie Harrison. Who's Jamie Harrison? Head of the DNC. Who? Then we've got this Lisa Head. Her mentions that. I mean, this is such complete and total disarray. Okay? Complete and total disarray. Let's talk about the RNC. Who runs that? Who's in charge of the RNC? You got any clue about that one? Who's the head of that baby? And if we look at this RNC business, we'll look at this. In the RNC right now, the head of this is, who is it? That's right. Michael Watley. Who? Michael Watley. Didn't he do that river dance? No, it's Michael Flatley. Oh, okay. Who's co-chair? Lara Trump. Why is she co-chair? I don't know. Who's the finance chair? Duke Bouchan or Buchan. Who? This is where we are right now. This is just, I mean, this is nuts. And by the way, to give you an idea, just so that you know, if I ran the show, the Republican Party would look like the SEAL Team 6. The worst Republican organization is New York City, which is a joke, and New York State. The worst. Bunch of figureheads. They want to go out and take pictures. They want to go out to eat. They want to go to parties. They want to sit around and go to, you got the young Republicans, you got the old Republicans. They're worthless. Absolutely worthless. They just love to just take pictures. Hey, we're out. What do? I'm posing for pictures. Here I am with Carrie Lake, and here I am with this one. What are you doing? You got to vote. I don't know. Somebody. Well, I don't have time for that. I'm going to the Hamptons. We're going to take pictures. I'm sitting around be in the Hamptons. You want to go take a picture of me in the Hamptons? Hey, look, I'm there with I don't know. That's it. This is so. I mean, so whatever I say about the Democrats, to be honest with you, I mean, none of this makes any sense. There's an old joke, and I love this joke. There's a big flood in the city. Guy standing there, water's up to his waist. He's got his arms folded. And this boat comes by and says, come on, jump in. And he says, God will save me. Boat goes off. Water's up to here now. Boat goes by. Come on, man. The water's right. Jump in the boat. We'll save you. God will save me. Pretty soon the water's up to his nose. He's on his tippy toes. There's a helicopter. They drop a ladder, bullhorn. Grab the rope. And he says, God will save me. And sure enough, he drowns. Goes to heaven and says, where's God? He's over there. God, I got a word with you. Yeah. I prayed. Why didn't you help me? And God says, what the hell's wrong with you? I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. Okay. That's what this is. God, the way I see it, sometimes says, I do things, and I don't do things necessarily that you understand, but I do things to get a particular result. And in 2024, I threw it all your way. Republicans. I threw it all your way. I normally don't get involved, but I did. I had your opponent go veg on you, which, by the way, the joke is he was veg for the past 5 years. Easy. Maybe more than that, maybe 10, but still, doesn't matter. I gave you the best guy in the world, Donald Trump. I had every one of his 4 criminal cases basically dissolved. The last one, this one in New York, this thing's going. If this isn't overturned on appeal, I don't know what. It's just a dog. It's just nothing's going to happen. It's just like, it doesn't matter. There's a point where we used to have people in traffic court years ago who had their license suspended 50 times. 50. We would say, how do you suspend a suspended license? How do you mend a broken heart? How do you suspend? And when he would go to court on DUI, one of the conditions was your license is suspended. He doesn't have a license. What are you suspending? I don't get it. I don't understand. It doesn't mean anything. That's Trump's conviction. Give him a conviction. Don't give him a conviction. What the hell? Who cares? Somebody somewhere, some court's going to commute the sentence. It means nothing. You're a joke. Between Jack Smith, Fani Willis, she's a joke, and these clowns in New York, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Because you know what Trump is? He's convicted. It's like, well, yeah, technically. What does that mean? Well, I mean, he's not a murderer or anything. He's just kind of, theoretically, yeah, theoretically he's convicted. Theoretically. He's theoretically convicted. Yep. He's theoretically convicted. Wow. That's really weird. Yeah, it is, isn't it? He's theoretically convicted. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. And everything you did, everything you tried to do, every single thing you tried to do, God came along and said, He has this assault case with this nutcase E. Jean Carroll, a complete bat crazy lunatic. That didn't matter. Didn't matter. They say it does, but it doesn't matter. They say it. The thing with Letitia James. So if I didn't know better too, God says, I'm giving you these things. What you think was a some type of a mistake or a problem turns out to be nothing. And then I give you this incompetent. And then, by the way, while I'm at it, I destroy the Democratic Party. Wait till people get their money. Well, you want to help? You want to contribute to the? Hell no. There's nobody in charge. I don't even know the name. Jamie who? This is beautiful. Listen to me. Look at me. Stop what you're doing. This is good news. Are you happy? This is so good right now. You do know that no matter how it works, Kamala, Joe, doesn't matter. Trump's going to beat him. Beat him like you can't imagine. It is a joke. It is a complete and total joke when you have everybody on TV from Jerry Nadler. Again, look at his zipper. It's the longest thing in the world. I'm telling you. Poor guy. He, by the way, had bariatric surgery. Listen, weight is a problem. Did you ever see Jerry Nadler when he was at his heaviest? Dear, he looked like, remember Jerry Lewis when he had the prednisone? Remember that one? He looked kind of like that, but his entire body. But he had the surgery. Looks much, much better. Still, he's unlike Chris Christie, who had bariatric surgery and nothing happened, which is the damnedest thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how that works. I don't know how you do that, but he did it. In any event, he's out there. Everybody's out there. Mark Warner wants to meet with this one. This one's going to meet here. Hakeem Jeffries is going to meet with this one. Meanwhile, Joe is saying, hello, I'm not moving. I'm not budging. And the other day they said, Joe, would you make up your mind? He says, for the last time, I'm telling you, I'm not moving. It's beautiful. Thank you, O.A. I appreciate it immensely. Do you see what's happening? This is, they're showing no control. Imagine during the day of LBJ. LBJ would have said, I'm going to stick Mac Wallace on you. You're going to do what I say. You're going to step down. No, I'm not. What? And to go on these shows and let's go here. And then we have Axelrod said this and Carville says this. And then Meager Brzezinski, this woman, look, I know we don't care about Meager Brzezinski, but she and Joe are the joke. They don't even know they're a joke. They don't recognize the fact that they're a joke. Even among the lunatic world of, how do I say this? They don't understand. Among the lunatic world, I want to bring up this name. Hiro Onoda. Hiro Onoda. You know who that is? HIROOONODA. He died in 2014. He was 91. Hiro Onoda was a second lieutenant in the Imperial Japanese Army in World War II, and one of the last holdouts who continued fighting after the war's end in 1945. For 29 years, Onoda carried out guerrilla warfare on Lubang Island in the Philippines, on several occasions engaging in shootouts with locals and the police. 29 years after World War II. Onoda, who initially held out with one soldier who surrendered in 1950 and two who were killed, was contacted in 1974 but refused to surrender until he was relieved of his duty by his former commanding officer, Major Yoshimi Taniguchi, who was flown to Lubang Onoda surrendered on March 10th, 1974, and received a hero's welcome in Japan. Hiro Onoda, 29 years, didn't know the war was over. That's Miga Brzezinski. That's Joe Scarborough. They're so gone. You know, rumor has it there's trouble in paradise. Look, I don't wish that on anybody. I'm sorry, but that thing was, that's a joke. You got two lunatics here who don't know what they're talking about, but that was her. She doesn't know what to do. Somebody's telling her, listen, Meager, do us a favor. The only thing you can do is you can be Onoda. You can be like the last one who didn't give up. You will be forever remembered by the Democratic Party. In the next iteration of MSDNC, you'll get your gig. And remember when she used to travel the country with Huffington? Remember that? Was it Huffington? Remember that dog? They couldn't sell tickets. She thought somehow people loved her. She was a nut. Still is. And she and Joe, I mean, it's like, it's over. She's Hiro Onoda. She doesn't know it's over. And Joe is figuring, you know what? I don't care. I've gone this far. I'm just going to walk around. Now, if this were any other country, all of a sudden somebody will come up with Joe like, hey, Joe's down. What happened? I don't know. With all of the concoctions they have and all of the darts they have and the heart attack guns that they got Breitbart on and others as well, that they put something, you know how they got the other guy. They've got more concoctions, black art of poisons. And I mean, they say, Joe, you want some ice cream? Yeah, try some of this. Hey, this tastes funny. No, it's good. Taste it. All of a sudden, Joe, This says a lot about us. If this were any other country, he'd be a speed bump by now. He'd be gone. He would be gone, if you know what I mean. Not a problem. He goes bye-bye. He's like Paulie. You know what I mean? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. But he's still there. Does this make any sense to you? No. You're going to pretend it makes sense to you. You're going to come up with you're going to, as our good friend quoted Thoreau, as though that gives you, it makes no sense. None of it makes any sense. None of it does. It's like you going into a mental hospital and looking at people in a fight and you're saying, I don't know, this guy thinks he's a reindeer and this one over here. You got Hiro Onoda, at least in 20, I'm not leaving until I'm officially relieved of my duties. All right, Hiro, hang on a second. Hello, General. Yeah, listen, would you go to Lubang? Who? Yeah, there's a dude there named Onoda. That nut? Yeah, well, let me tell you what he's doing. He hasn't surrendered yet. It's 29 years. I know. It's weird, but listen, can you do us a favor? He's shooting people up and it's making a damn fool out of himself. That's Miga Brzezinski. Wow, cool. By the way, you didn't say you were an Aussie. Was it Maxine Waters who thought Guam would sink? No. If an aircraft carrier, no, that's Ted, Ted Johnson or Guam would sink. No, that is. Wait a minute, Guam. No, not Ted Johnson. Yeah, Hank Johnson. I knew I was close. That was Hank Johnson who said in April the 2nd of 2010, U.S. Representative Hank Johnson, a Democrat from Lithonia, this is in Georgia, recently worried that it might be, according to a videotaped congressional hearing. He said, my fear is that the whole island, he was talking about, I think it was, Guam. He said, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize. This is what he said with a straight face. The admiral seemed to take the question seriously, and he said, we don't anticipate that. And this man was not immediately pulled out. He was not immediately pulled out and made to leave or surrender his weapons, so to speak. It's absolutely true. Bob Andrysiak, thank you so much, Bob. Appreciate that. Thank you immensely for this. Let me tell you another one. You ready for this? You're going to love this. Years ago, I worked with a real judge rule. This was one of the most incredible things ever. And there was a time. This is when there were complete morons in charge of. It was horrible. And yeah, people came in and said, "We're going to change this show and that show. We're going to bring this person in." And I heard this person on TV, and she's real good. One time, we had somebody come in, and the news or the program director said, "This person's got a lot of energy." I said, "So does a gerbil." Didn't like that. So one day, we're on doing this, and it was about Mars Pathfinder, and this idiot thought there was a Pathfinder, like a Toyota Pathfinder. Anyway. So as we're talking, this person said, "I have a question," and you could hear the science correspondent almost had like a suspiration, knowing this person's reputation for stupidity. He said, "What is it?" And this person asked whether Mars had a son. And I got up. I remember that time walking to a person in charge. I said, "You're not gonna fire this person, are you?" This person just said, "Ask whether Mars has a son." This person is almost 50 years old, and in the course of this person's life, never came upon this kind of like this fundamental core knowledge as far as planetary structures and galaxies and solar system. Later on, the best one I ever heard, ever. There was a guy named Joe Bruno years ago. He was a very powerful New York state senator. Good guy. It was charged. I don't know if they went to prison, but it was overcharged. I mean, they just abused him. Anyway, he was from Rensselaer County. Rensselaer. Say it. Rensselaer. No. I want you to say it. You won't understand the joke if you don't say it. Say it. Rensselaer. Say it one more time. Rensselaer. Good. During the course of something, somebody said, this person said something to the effect of, "I don't know where this guy, Joe Bruno, gets off talking about, rent control and stuff when he flies around the state in his jet." To which everybody said, "Well, what are you talking about?" And this person said, "Well, you said it yourself. He rents a Lear." Couldn't believe what I heard. Couldn't believe what I heard. One time we had Al D'Amato on, Senator Al D'Amato. Al D'Amato's mother, I think her name is Antoinette, wrote a book on Italian cooking. A colleague said, "Hey, Senator, what's the chances of having your mother come on the show and make us a bowl of pasta fangool?" Not fazool. It's actually fagioli. But anyway, I mean, you just, and that's when I realized nobody cares. Nobody cares. Biwaku, Aussie here. Thank you. Twazimir over said, thank you. Is our Aussie friend. By the way, he does this in restaurants. Excuse me. Yes, I'm Australian. Just want to let you know. Where is the loo? I think that's what we call it. So, leaving you with this, my friends, let me just remind you. There is a God, and the God that is in charge, whether it's I don't know what form, is saying to you, this one's for you, America. You've prayed. You've asked for my help for so long. And I've let you down. I admit it. I let you down. But I'm going to fix it. But Trump isn't just going to win. I'm going to fix it so that the Democratic Party is destroyed from within. And nobody will know why, because an 81-year-old coot, a curmudgeon, a dotard, a wizened dotard who can't even formulate words, who is constantly breathless, who just wants to have chocolate chip ice cream. Just you're not going to believe what you hear. You're just not going to believe. I'm telling you. You're not going to believe, and it will be years for you to understand what you've exhibited. You've got the Democrats saying we can't control this man. It's like having somebody. I watch a lot of YouTube. I love cops pulling people over for drunk driving. People won't get out of the car. People, they raise they lose their minds. And every now and then they say, "Hello, officer. Yes, listen, it's my relative. He's in there. He's raising hell. He locked the door. We can't get in. He's ordering food, whatever it is." That's Joe. Joe is saying, "I'm having the time of my life. I'm not. You had me sign off on stuff. I didn't want any of these degenerate pervs at the White House, but I did it. I didn't want to open the borders, but I did it. I didn't want to do any of this COVID stuff. That was a joke, but I did it. I'm not crazy about abortion, but I did it. There is not anything on your program. And climate change, I don't even know what. And you had me shut down. Coal reserves and Keystone pipelines and natural gas. You had me do this? I look like a fool. I know I look like a fool now. I did this. I did everything. But you know what? JoJo's not going to do this anymore. I'm 81. What are you going to do to me? You can do something to my son? The hell with my son. I'm tired of him. Do what you want. You can't blackmail me with this. Evan, as I call him, Evan Webb says, maybe the sock puppet master is just out to keep the chaos going as long as possible. Could very well be, my friend. And thank you. I don't even know. I don't even know how this thing works. None of this makes sense. It's beautiful. And there's a God or somebody saying, I'm giving this to you. This is chaos. And President Trump, take some time off. Don't say anything. You don't have to say anything. Nothing. Play golf. Just say, go ahead, Joe. As you were. Keep going, Joe. Keep going, Joe. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for this wonderful time to be with you. 1 hour and 23 minutes. Bob Andriziak, B. Wakul, he's an Aussie. O.A., thank you. Laurie Partridge, where have you been, stranger? Where have you been? I love this. Could some foreign actor be running things? Look at everybody's spreading words out. This is the weirdest thing. It's the way we speak. Are you running? Okay. We're going to call this whatever speak. Could they be running things? Well, if they are running things, good for them. Call me Red. Thank you so much. Mr. Cool Miser. Judas Goat Barbecue. Hubbleson. Thank you. Let me see. And that's it. Good. What a day. What a day. Huh? And it's only Monday. It's only Monday. By the way, a little recommendation for you. Mrs. Ellen and I saw a documentary on Hulu about Dion von Furstenberg. Not Diane. They call her Dion. They call her Dion von Furstenberg. And I think it's one of the most fascinating stories around. And I commend it to you heartily. It is wonderful. So see it. It's so interesting. The wrap dress and what she did and her attitude and her it's really, really good. Wasn't that good, honey? Wasn't that? It was excellent. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. Don't forget, a couple of things here. I put up a link. And I'm asking you, make sure you sign up for the newsletter. One's coming up. People, I send them out. Absolutely, completely, just some thoughts and comments. You can pass them on to your friends. Where the hell is this thing? Here we go. I provide this to you. It's great, and it's. Let me see here. Hang on here. Just a minute. Where is it? There we go. There we go. Always refreshing everything. This is the newsletter. Make sure you sign up for it right now. Okay? It is that good. Also, as you know, Mrs. L is putting out comments regarding children that are just, it's beyond anything you can imagine. Please follow her on YouTube. You've got to see, still people are cannot believe baby farms. That's it right there. And also what is happening to the laws of parental primacy and autonomy in terms of schools and what they're doing to parents and kids. It will blow your mind. So follow Lynn's Warriors, both on YouTube and on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And then don't forget, finally, my friends, on the 26th of October, this is coming up, 10 days before the election, I'll be at the cutting room. I will be there. We will party like you cannot believe. Have a great and a glorious day, dear friends. It is always a pleasure and an honor to be with you. You make my day, and I hope I add a little ray of sunshine and hope and direction to you. See you tonight. Don't forget, sign up, Lionel Nation. Make sure you remain subscribed. I'm getting words from people that somehow are unsubscribed. Lionel Nation. And until we speak again, my friends, this is your new best friend, Lionel, reminding you, as we always say, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.